What's up, guys? It's Andrigan here with Andrigan Gaming. I'm back in Final Fantasy XI, finally, at long last. Oh, guys, this week has been absolutely nuts. So I am so extremely sorry that I have been out of the loop. If you guys have been trying to reach out to me on the game, I know I've kind of been active on our Facebook group and trying to encourage folks to jump into the link shell, but man, I just had a really crazy real life week this week, so I am really sorry about that. But man, I've been working on some Rhapsodies of Vana'diel quests today, really just trying to get some things tied up, some loose ends, some things that I want to handle so that I can continue to level my Blue Mage. My Blue Mage is something that I've started working on, and I did it not really knowing how much of a commitment it was going to be to get all the spells, and I want to do it right. I want to get all the good spells, but man, it is definitely intense. So what I really wanted to do was wrap up all the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel quests so that I would be able to get the maximum amount of experience bonuses and things like that to really just kind of make that leveling process go a little quicker. And as I'm working on that and I'm doing that, I started thinking about something, and I realized, so a lot of the people that I've been coming in contact with on Facebook and other places, they played this game a really long time ago, but they're not completely up to date with a lot of the really big changes that have happened. And I'm going to try to do some videos to chronicle a lot of those changes, the things like teleportation, where you can move around from home points and also between survival guides, things like that that have really streamlined the game and made it so much more friendly to people to be able to just dump a little bit of time into nowadays instead of having to sit for 6 hours on end, which is how we did it back in the day. But there are a lot of people that don't understand a lot of the new processes, particularly the finishing quest series and add-on content called Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. So what I wanted to do was give you guys a very elementary sum up of what Rhapsodies of Vana'diel does and what benefits it gives you to complete this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little random running around, and that way I'm not just standing here looking at my character in the video, but at the same time I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit of an explanation as to what Rhapsodies is, how it starts, what it gives you, and why you should be doing it. So first off, the thing I do want to explain to you guys is just a really quick background history on me and why I love this game so much. So in 2003, I purchased the very first Final Fantasy XI box from, I think, a local Walmart, because I'd been a passionate Final Fantasy lover for basically my entire gaming career since the 80s. And well, I say that, it was probably the early 90s whenever I got into the Final Fantasy series. Regardless, so as soon as I found out that there was a new Final Fantasy, regardless as to whether I understood online gaming at the time or not, I wanted to play. So I picked it up, I installed it, and I think I played for a few hours on my mom and dad's Pentium 3 or Pentium 2 computer. It was a really old school NEC, I think. I have absolutely no idea how this game ran off of that in 56K, but it did, and it worked. And you know, I fell in love with this game because the community immediately began reaching out to me. I began meeting people and speaking to them, which is something that didn't exist in games back then. And so I got really excited. I fell in love with the concept. I fell in love with the zones, and I began to play. So fast forward a couple of years, the Treasures of Adoragon era, I really was deep into the game. We were in a link shell that was farming Sky regularly. I was doing a lot of the early Adoragon stuff, and it was shortly after that that I ended up kind of, for one reason or another, fading away from the game. Alright, so fast forward, I've come back probably 10 times since then. But the time that it really stuck was last year. I decided I wanted to begin a whole new character and completely just restart the game, because when I came back, I had the access to my old character, but the problem was I had absolutely no idea what to do with him, because I just didn't remember anything about the game. And so I came back and I created a brand new character, which is Andrigan, the guy that you see here now. And I just started, you know, playing and revisiting the game. So one of the things that I found out about early on by some study on the Wikipedia pages and things like that was that Rhapsodies of Vana'diel is the thing that you absolutely have to be doing in order to really move forward in this game right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few minutes and try to explain to you what Rhapsodies is. So most of you know that this game has had quite a few of expansions over the past, not to mention quite a few pieces of add-on content also that just has put tons of stuff into this game. Way more than any other game I've ever played in my entire life. There's so many systems, there've been so many storylines, and it's just insane the amount of just sheer content that this game has. So what Square Enix's developers decided to do when they realized that the game was really just kind of shrinking, the player base wasn't where it used to be because it had moved on to a lot of the newer style games, is they decided to really streamline all of the story content in the game and make it kind of cohesive, so to speak. Because in days of the past, you would actually be able to do all the story in this game without it really interconnecting. It didn't really have a lot to do with each other. So you were kind of free once you hit level 75 to do Zalart stuff or Prometheum stuff, Ottergon stuff, whatever you wanted to do, you were free to do it. So what Rhapsodies of Vana'diel was, is it was a way to cohesively streamline the story content of this game so that it made sense and it rewarded you for going through the story. Because honestly, outside of the Raja's Ring and the Suffolnomimi, there weren't a ton of driving factors that really encouraged people to finish the Zalart systems and the Prometheus systems. So, because there was a lot, especially with Chains of Prometheus, it was so in-depth and so time-consuming. Even to this day, being able to go into those fights at level 99 with no caps and being able to take trust, it is still so tedious to hash through some of that content, just because the amount of time it takes you to walk to places. And anyway, none of that really matters. But what Rhapsodies of Vana'diel did was it began to reward you for doing that story content. So the way that you begin Rhapsodies of Vana'diel is the first time you zone into a Mog house, after you begin the game and you create a new character, the add-on content kind of initializes. And you're going to have that kind of hanging over your head, and you're going to have the ability to go further into it once you get up to about the level, I'm going to say 10, because 10 is when we all really used to hit the dunes. Some of my most fond memories of this game were just dunes parties. So when you go to the dunes, if you were from Bastak or from Sandoria, you would end up in Selbina. And Selbina was the place that we used to run to get away from goblin trains when some jerk came through and pulled a ton of them onto our camp, alright? Now, Selbina is the place that you go to begin really getting your cutscenes for Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. The big thing that that's going to do is that's going to end up taking you to Norg. And Norg is a place where a lot of really important things happen in the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel system, but it also was a place that was just nearly impossible to get to back in the day without someone showing you how to get there, because it was a really convoluted direction system. Not to mention the Yatunga and Yoder jungle were just nightmares to navigate. The map helped zero. And so it basically teleports you straight to Norg. And from Norg, you get access to your first survival guide. At least it was my first survival guide. And from there, you can pretty much access the rest of the world, which has been great. So Rhapsodies of Vana'diel begins a storyline quest, and I'm not going to put any spoilers into this, so don't worry about listening to this and having the storyline ruined for you. It's going to begin you on a trek, first through, you're going to have to get some ranks in your home country. It's going to require that you do a lot of your home country missions and get to a certain extent in those so that you can continue the storyline, which is excellent because rank in your home country is extremely important. There are a lot of things that previously were inaccessible. Really? This thing's just going to bebop all over the place. Anyway, there are a lot of things that were previously inaccessible without getting a reasonable rank. Rank 6 in your home country is pretty much required to have been able to do any kind of endgame back in the day, because you had to be rank 6 in order to get the sky. And so, you know, it was really, really important. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to make you go through your home country rank, and get to a certain rank there. All right, and it's going to walk you through those missions, unlike what we had back in the day, which was go on Alakazam and hope to God you can find the right mission. and there was no ability to tab through windows back then either, and nobody had dual monitors that I knew of. So I was actually sharing this story with a friend of mine the other day. I used to go on Alakazam's website and print out notorious monster lists, and I had a binder, like this huge binder that I kept all that information in, so that when I was playing the game I could actually open my binder up and have info on like the Volcrum Emperor and things like that. So that's a side trail, I apologize. But anyway, so Rhapsodies is going to make you go through your story content for your home country, all right? And then it's going to also get you your sub job, and man, does it make getting your sub job just ridiculously easy now. But you're going to end up getting your sub job, and that's going to allow you to really open up what you can do on your character in the game, because sub jobs are really one of the core portions of the game that makes it so unique. It's one of my favorite parts about the game. So it's going to walk you through that. And then the next thing it's going to do is it's going to get you started in your Rise of Zalart missions, which really kind of begins the good, thick, meaty story that is Final Fantasy XI. And it's wonderful. But the best part is there's actually a bigger story going on that brings you into your mission content for your home country. Then it also takes you into the Zalart missions, then the Promanthea missions, and on into the Uragaan missions. Now, some of the things that are going to be required for doing this are you're going to have to complete certain amounts of content for all of those expansion packs before you can progress with Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. But what is great about that is it really tightens everything up to where you're doing the things that are relevant to the story. And remember earlier I had told you, you get rewarded for that. Okay, so here are how the reward systems work for Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. The very first thing that you're going to get is you're going to get Rhapsodies in White. And that's after 115 Rhapsodies of Vana'diel mission. And what Rhapsodies in White does is it gives you a 30% bonus to experience and limit point gains, and 100% increase to combat and magic skill gains. Alright guys, my game on the screen is going to stop for a second because I really need to cover what that means, okay? You're gaining a flat 30% bonus to everything that you do in the game that gains you experience points. The Emperor's Band that we used to use only gave a 50% bonus for X amount of time, and that was just the most incredible thing in the world. Just this one key item that you get from completing these very simple missions gets you a 30% bonus permanent, alright? Not to mention that 100% increase to your combat magic gain. Skill ups used to take weeks, months. I mean, I remember when I was tanking on my Paladin on the Veil 4 server back in the day, and I decided that I wanted to try to skill up Greatsword so that I could do a little DPSing whenever I wasn't primarily tanking, and oh my gosh, at level 75, taking Greatsword skill from 1 to max was just unbearable. I honestly don't think I ever maxed it out because I got so frustrated with Kuftal Tunnel parties and just chained crabs, and it was, oh god, it was awful. So anybody who ever did any skill up parties in Kuftal Tunnel, you remember that. Anyhow, so that really just increases the amount of skill ups you get. I can't imagine leveling Blue Mage and unlocking Blue Mage spells without that skill up ability, because it would just be an absolute nightmare. I mean, like a crawl. I don't know that I'd do it. Matter of fact, I didn't do it because I unlocked Blue Mage on my old server on my character. I got him to level 12 and said, screw this is not fun, because it was so time consuming, and I quit. So, I'm a quitter. You get 80% reduction in gil consumed by your home points, which is great. But here's the other big deal. It allows you to call a 4th alter ego, which is a trust. That's another major thing that the Rhapsodies key items do, is they allow you to summon more trusts. In the beginning, you're only going to be able to summon 3. Now, what the Rhapsodies do is they add a trust every couple of key items until you have a full party of 6, which is absolutely incredible, and it makes the game so much more solo friendly, so much simpler. It's incredible. Just another beautiful thing. But it doesn't stop there, because you're saying, Andy, That's great, but that doesn't seem like it's worth all the trouble it takes to trek through those Zalart missions and those Promathia missions. I really just feel like there should be more to it. Well, my friend, let me tell you. That was my best TV game show host voice. Anyhow, the next one that you're going to get is going to be Rhapsodies in Umber, and then you're going to get Rhapsodies in Azure, and you're going to get Rhapsodies in Crimson. Alright, so there are I know that there are 6 Rhapsodies key items that increase your experience gain. Guys, every one of those key items gives you an extra 30% experience and capacity point gain from everything you do in the game. I don't know if you're processing that, but that is a ton of bonus experience, and that is one of the reasons that leveling takes absolutely no time. But it's just so important that you get these missions done for Rhapsodies of Vana'diel as quickly as possible, so that on your future characters, you'll be able to level up so much faster. Now, I'm not telling you do these before you level up any other characters. I got my Samurai to level 99 first. I got my Thief to level 99 second. And right now, I've got Warrior and Dancer both at 50, and I'm working on Blue Mage. So I don't have a ton of jobs maxed out, okay? I really don't. But having a maxed out Samurai with the ability to sub Dancer, and I will tell you that a sub with Dancer is almost required for a lot of these missions because of the ability to sneak and invis for free. But, you know, I don't have a ton of maxed out characters, but having a level 99 is really, really helpful because it does help streamline the process because you just walk through the content, which is great. I do encourage you to watch the cutscenes, read the cutscenes. The storyline in this game is amazing. I love it, and I will say the Rhapsody storyline is just as good as any of the other storylines in my personal opinion. I love Iroha. I love how the story comes together. I can't wait to finish it. And right now, where I currently stand in it is I just got Resenjima access, which is really exciting, but I haven't been through that. But that's pretty much where I've stopped off. Guys, I'm going to wind the video up here because I'm almost to 30 merit points, and I don't want to waste my time out here killing things for no reason for your pleasure. But I do want you to understand that, man, these Rhapsodies quests, they're great. They're easy. They're really not hard. When you compare them to Promathia missions, Zalart missions, they're just really easy. And if you get a character to level 99 first, even though it's going to take a little longer, man, it makes all the difference in the world on being able to solo a lot of it. Having those extra trusts, it's just incredible. I can't encourage you enough. Go do the Rhapsodies quests, get them all tied up, because the time it's all done and you've gotten all the Rhapsodies key items, it's going to make a massive, massive difference in the speed and enjoyment of the game. And also, you don't completely finish out the Zalart missions or the Promathia missions or your home country missions. You don't finish those with Rhapsodies. That just kind of wets your feet with them. And what that means is, now once you've got everything complete, it gives you the ability and the desire to go back and finish those storylines, get that Subnamimi, get that Raja's Ring, and just own it and look like one of the cool kids that I've always wanted to be. And I will tell you a quick side note on my Paladin. Since I was Paladin main on my old character, I did Divine Might, and I chose the Knight's Earring, which I am still ashamed of 10 years later. Anyhow, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it encourages you guys to really get in there and enjoy Rhapsodies. It's a lot of fun. If you're on the Ashura server and I can help you with any of this stuff anytime, I promise I'm going to be on more often this coming week, usually from 8:30 on Central Time in the evenings. Just send me a message. You can send me a message on Play Online. Guys, I really appreciate all the support I've been getting on the channel. It's unbelievable how many views and comments and things I'm getting. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for the love that I'm getting, and I hope it helped. I hope you tune in for the next video, and hopefully it won't take me another week to get it out. Until then, I'm Andy with Andrigan Gaming. You guys have an awesome night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.